Good evening and welcome to week 8 review of Around the OrkneyBowl. And there's some high scoring games and some not scoring high scoring teams. How's it going, Craig?
Good evening, Johnny. How are you? Yeah, week 8. It's a bit crazy that we're this far on already. Just 6 weeks to go to the end of the regular season. So some divisions will be starting to take shape. Some divisions will be very, very, very close.
Yeah, there'll be a couple that are going to be really close to the end, I think. But we'll start off with the St Magnus division. And obviously, the first game at the top, they're very close. You've got the Glasgow Eagles, 263.0 now, 9 against 234.97, Seattle Patriots. Manchester Bees, 219.84 against 147.46, the Whitford Rockstars. The Dublin Everton Blues, 187.61, losing a close one to the AK Alaskan Deep Freeze, 192.74. AK Colts, 193.60 up against the Carlton Crew, 240.87. Ancoats Citizens, 205.09 up against the Leicester Tigers, who are now 2-6, 223.93. And the Waterloo Warriors, just shy of 200, 109.94 against the Leeds Lasers, 177.75. Yeah, so we've now got three teams at 6 and 2 up here. So.
It's very, very tight, and that's only 4 teams with a winning record here, so that's 8 teams on 4-4 or worse. So it's very, very tight. And the one big thing that you can see from the scores there this week is the scoring return this week. You know, after a couple of kind of lull weeks, the scoring very much returned this week for
no bye weeks. No bye weeks helped. Everybody played this week. But
it does help, you know, but obviously, you know, the injury, there's still a lot of injuries out there, but, you know, the kind of the players that are replacing them are now being picked up. They've been plugged into teams and they've been scoring some points, you know. So, I mean, 2 massive scores here with Graham 6 and 2 and scoring 263 points. He'll be starting to think about the OrkneyBowl title, Johnny. You know, it's.
But the big one here, as opposed to the show me the money, is that Jalen Hurts getting those 3 rushing touchdowns over Saquon Barkley on the other team who didn't get the 3 rushing touchdowns. That's a 36-point swim.
You've certainly got to take your hat off to him for going all in on his own team's quarterback. You know, I mean, I get it's Jalen Hurts and he's massive for fantasy because he's got the legs as well and he's got the tush push that gets him many a touchdown. But you know, he's went all in on his quarterback and he's, to be fair, he's carried them into 2 6 and 2 positions. If you look at Show Me the Money as well, and you know, going to be in the playoffs in both. So we'll see how he gets on. We'll see how he gets on after that. You know, he's got Eckler in behind it. Kamara's obviously scoring really good. Hey, Everett, how you doing, sir? You know, Jamar Chase, top wide receiver who's going to score on many points, especially with the first down points and stuff in this league. So he's going to score just fine. You get Terry in there. So, you know, things are looking very good for Graham.
Definitely. That was a cracking game anyway. But obviously, Kelsey's showing up finally, getting 190 yards and a touchdown. Connor, Joe Mixon run his, so they probably would have started well this week as well. No look chip, but it's steady all the way through.
Mixon, yeah.
Coleman on the bench and that one. But you can't really come. Ken, you got 234 points and losing is a sore one, but you still managed to score 234 points.
But you know what, Johnny? But in week 8 now, and it's 3 and 5. So you know, for the Seattle Patriots, it's a hard one because yes, you've scored 234 points. You've got to be happy with that. But at the same time, you're 3 and 5, and you know, there's 6 games to go. The winning has to start now is the thing, you know. And I mean, it was massive win for the Alaskan Deep Freeze to beat the defending champion Dublin Everton Blues. And you know, at 3 and 5 again, their winning has to start soon. The Deep Freeze at 4 and 4, upward trajectory now. It's huge win that was. You know, Carlton Crew keeping up with the 6 and 2s and getting the win over the line there, putting the EK Colts at 2 and 6. Got to be starting to think about looking over the shoulder for relegation now, you know, and stay in the division is the main target, I would say, at 2 and 6, you know, and Coat Citizens as well.
Yeah, but 2 and 6 are now 2 and 6 are now 1 spot off the playoffs. So that was a big win for the Leicester Tigers. So
Yeah, there is. So that's yeah, actually, yeah, that's massive. I'm forgetting it's 12 teams as
Five.
well. So yeah, 2-6 is bottom of the division. So what am I saying? Yeah, well, we're 2 games off the playoffs, 4 and
There
4.
were 2 games off the playoffs, but still, it's not a lot considering it
No,
happened.
but
Their teams scored in the last couple of weeks. They were unlucky last week, but the week before they had a high scoring team. So if they keep it
got to be
going,
winning. Got
and if they're playing against
to
these
keep
teams, you've
winning.
got to think they've got to go up. But they're not out yet. So
No, they're not out yet. But it's it's you got to be looking over your shoulder now. You've only managed, when you've only found 2 wins in 8 weeks. It's the winning has to start now.
tell me about it.
And that's what Leicester Tigers are doing. That's that they're 2-6 now. That's they're winning. That's started. They've got 230 odd points this week. So that's an upward trajectory because they've got the win, they've got the points. EK Colts, it's 108, it's 193 points. I mean, it's not terrible, but the winning needs to start now. And Leicester Tigers have shown that by grabbing that win and giving themselves a chance.
I know that was the team against 3 and 5 as well, so it pulled him closer to them as well. So it's not as if it's a
Water
yeah.
Warriors there as well with 4 and 4. They were 3 and 4. They're now 4 and 4. Leeds Lassos have pulled them back to 4 and 4, so they're tied things up with them. That's a massive win. So every week now is really big for the teams that are kind of in that mix, in the 4 and 5, the 5 and 3, the 3 and 5, even the 2 and 6, as you say. Yeah, right. They're still in it. The 6 and 2s, they can afford to have a wee loss every now and then.
Yeah, we'll see how that also. Graham started off not bad though. That was the 2 6 and 2s with Manchester Bees against the Glasgow Eagles. So Graham's got 21 points last night. So who was that for?
That'll be Devontae Adams, I would imagine. Because he didn't get that many
No,
catches. Oh no, it's Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon. Yeah, because he was really good in the first half, but didn't do much in the second half. Dublin Edinburgh Blues got a whole 1.7. I think that was maybe. Oh yeah, Tyler Conklin. He's a bit hit and miss. It's a game they need to win as well, to be honest, with 3 and 5 Patriots. You got a 5
really
and 3.
Is, but it's the 2, 3 and 5s, it's mad. That is huge in the sense that the winner of that has got a good chance of kicking on. The loser of that, it's a long way back. It's so huge game there.
Look at this one. So 30 point start for Whitford Rock Stars, but still projected to lose. But they are up against the Carlton Crew. Got the Ancoats Citizens 3 and 5 because projected to beat the Alaskan Deep Freeze, but we'll see how that happens. But 22 points for Tankdale and
that's
8 points for Dalton Schultz.
Oh,
so they both had 1 player each.
So
that'll be a good one. Nerby.
After me saying EK Colts need a win, they've certainly got off to a good start with 43 points there. I imagine that's got something to do with
Wilson.
one of the receivers. Yeah, Garrett Wilson. There you go. So, I mean, Stroud's kind of holding them back a little bit there, but it's good points from Wilson there. So it gives them a chance, and Orkney Warriors at 4 and 4. It's not like they're running away. So,
he may have
got a good chance.
His bench is a bit dodgy though because he needs a running back. He's got Jason. He's got Hill playing. He's got one on a bye. He's got Kittle on a bye. You can always move Chubb up to the running back and leave a flex. Even then, he's got Pearsall. He's on a bye. So you've got Quentin Johnston. So he's got to put Quentin Johnson in and Johnny Smith in to cover his bye weeks. But with a 40 start, we'll make it a bit closer, but I don't know if it'll be enough to come up against the Water Warriors. He looked pretty good with CeeDee Lamb, Baker Mayfield, kind of is against Kansas City, but he's probably going to have to throw the ball. But I don't know who to. Great London, got a couple of Chicago. Hunt.
I get the thing, Chicago. I know that the Cardinals' defense can be very hit and miss, but more miss than hit, I would say. So good chance that they'll get some points this week. The Chicago, and they've got to bounce back after that disaster that they had last week. I mean, that was such a hideous way to lose a game. It really was.
It was so funny. It was unreal. Like it was hilarious.
I mean, see when you're defending Hail Mary. You don't need to catch a thing. Bat it on the ground. What are you doing? Hitting the ball up in the air. Bat it on the ground.
Well, I
Anyway.
think he tried to tip it away, but yeah, he'd been better just nothing to do with it. Then they wouldn't have caught it because it was, even if they caught it, they were short. It would have been about the 3-yard line. It came down.
Exactly.
So yeah,
It's
it
I can't
was
help but
comical.
laugh. It's Chicago Bears doing Chicago Bears things. But
It
yeah,
was
I
just
mean,
Saw's
this
law that it was him that was going like that to the crowd, and it was him that topped it up, tapped it on to Noah Brown. But and obviously you've got the down the bottom there. Benjamin's the Leicester Tigers are predicted to win against the Leeds last. So that's another 2-6 against a 4-4. So
yeah, I mean
it could be interesting.
they had a good 236 points last week, you know, so they're obviously coming back. They've obviously got thing, you know, Njoku's got getting a lot more targets now. Cooper's gone. He's got Josh Downs will be delighted that Flacco's in at quarterback now. So, you know, there are good things down there, and there's good. Otton's going to get more and more because who else is Mayfield thrown to?
And obviously, Leeds Lassos have lost their tight end, so they got one in the bench. Well, Frymer's on a bye, so he needs a tight end before. But he's got a couple of days to get one. I'll make it a bit closer, I mean, but it's a good start. So.
It's certainly, you know, Leicester Tigers aren't out of it. EK Colts aren't out of it. You're right. They're both 2-6, and they're both right, you know, but they do need to win.
Yeah. So we'll go on to my division. I'd rather disappoint it, but we better not.
Yeah.
So the Orkney Orcas 154.52, another high scoring quality thing there from the commissioner, against the Whitehill White Tigers 211.26. Warners Bay Goonies 219.55 against the Stockholm Bengals 189.22. A shock to report there, Newcastle Colts 239.20 against the Godalming Colts 247.08. That because I'm knocking on my door as well. Yorkshire wins 210.64 against the 286.64 Harrow Harlequins. I think that was maybe the highest of the week. I can't mind on. The Blackfoot Panthers 178.85 against the Solihull Sharks 249.86. The Glossop Fighting Gophers 171.89 against the Newcastle Buccaneers 198.82. So obviously Sean's now joined at the top by two other teams at 6 and 2, the Warner Three Goonies and the Godalming Colts. Got the Blackfoot Panthers and the Whitehill White Tigers at 5 and 3. The Harrow Harlequins at 4 and 4. Then you have Solihull Sharks, Glossop Fighting Gophers, Stockholm Bengals, and Buccaneers all in 3 and 5. And then myself and the Yorkshire Finns at 2 and 6. So
2 and 6 is a long way back from there, Johnny. What happened to?
Well, it's still 2
games.
What's
happened to your team here? It's been you had Pacheco.
Well, Stroud didn't help. No, but CMC.
CMC, right, okay, they didn't like it issue, right? That's I knew you'd missed out on one of your top guys. You'd lost one of your top guys, and yeah, I mean it's a long way back from CMC because when you were obviously the 101 if you've got CMC, or maybe the 102.
This one didn't help as well. With Mosley getting injured in pre-warm up, considering I had Okereke on the bench with 30 points. Yeah, and this is also one where this is the one I told you on Saturday that I forgot to change my quarterback. Because I lost when the Kua and Cup were in, I would have put Stafford in with those two playing, but I didn't do it. And I knew from then on I was fucked, but I was still kept it. It didn't help that Tracy ran all over the place. Robinson ran all over the place. Herbert was doing nothing, and suddenly Lad McConkey went mental. So
yeah, that didn't help. And Tracy's been massive there. Great, you know, one of those ones where the very late pick and he's starting to score the points now, and if he can continue to keep scoring the way he is, and he seems to have wrestled the #1 spot off a single tray, so that's one of those. He's the type of guy that can win you titles because you've picked him up in round 14, 15, 16. You've maybe got him out of agency, you know, and and all of a sudden he's scoring you 28 points a week and stuff. It can make such a difference, you know, whereas your opponents got his second round pick. He's got McCaffrey already in tow that he's lost all week, all season, and he's got Breece Hall scoring him 11.5 points.
Well, that was No, that was round 1. Remember, I didn't have a second and a third round pick because I had 101 and 107.
Oh no! So you got the two of them in round one. So yeah, at the same time, it's you've got Hall's been a disappointment from picking from there, and of course
I'll
you've
tell
not
me
had
about it.
McCaffrey, which is very unfortunate. And then you look across the way and Tracy scoring 28 points. It's a hard one to take. But you're
Yeah,
not out of
and
it yet.
Robinson having a good game. Well, it's only 2 games back, but yeah, it's not pretty.
It's not
But
ideal. You
he'll,
need to start winning.
I know.
And
Well,
I
I'll
mean
just
everything
like
else
him
is
against
tight.
you next year. Yeah, no, I forgot this was a tight one. 239 against 247.
I mean this
That's
is
it
one
again.
where
Barkley not getting the rushing touchdowns has cost him. Even one. He
this is
would.
one of those ones where Sean doesn't need to lose any sleep over this one. Sure, the Godalming Goats has joined them up there at 6-2 now, but they're both going to make the playoffs here. It's
Oh yeah,
they're
yeah.
a couple of wins away, and you look at the squads. Look, both sides are loaded, so they're both going to make the playoffs. So this is one that Sean just shrugs off and says, "I scored the points, and I get outplayed this week. That's fine. I'll see you in the playoffs."
Yeah, it was still. They're both good-looking teams. Who we got? 6-2, 3-5.
Yeah, it was a big
Yeah,
one for Harlequins, 4-4 against the 2-2 Yorkshire, 2-6 now Yorkshire Finns. So it's kind of put that distance in between the two, and he can now start to look forward. Hurts is if he keeps scoring those touchdowns, and Cook and Taylor's a great running back for him. You've got Dell being the
Beasley,
number
Brown,
one at the
Dale,
moment.
Mooney,
Mooney doing very well.
Kittle, Gonky. Oh yeah,
Connolly going very well, Thomas is only going to get better as the season goes on as well, you would think. I mean, I know he's hurt at the moment. Even if he plays this week, I'm not sure I would want to be starting him this week because I do think he's genuinely hurt. So, but I don't think he'll be out, it'll be a big one. So, yeah, I mean, things are looking up, very much up on the up, and at 4-4,
it's
kind
looking
of
good.
giving himself a 2-game advantage over Yorkshire fans. So, big thing. And yeah,
Fraser.
Fraser's kind of hit the skids a little bit. He did say that he was falling out of love with his team a little bit, but he did run into 249 points, Solihull Sharks, and from 2-5 up to 3-5 and scoring 248. That's very much on the comeback trail.
Well, I suppose he did have to pick up Shepherd, and he played Lockett. No fan went out. Well, he played, but didn't play much. Mason went out, came back in, and went back out again. So he probably shouldn't even come back in the first place. Moss is out this week. Who's he got on the bench? Jerome Ford. He's got Tillman on the bench. He's going to be struggling this week because obviously Metcalf's out, Higgins out, Moss is
As he
out,
says,
Mason's
he's
on a
got
bye,
Tillman on the
Fant's
bench.
out, but he's got 5. He needs a tight end. He's got a tight end. Well, he's got Ardea likely, I suppose.
See, this has been this
Yeah.
is Roddy's problem. This is not sorry, Fraser's problem. This is why he's this is why he's fallen out of love with the team a little bit, I think. But do you know what? 5-3 is perfectly
He's
well
still sitting
positioned
in fourth.
to
I'll
make a
quite
run for
happily
the
swap
playoffs.
places with him if he wants. I'll swap places if he
And
wants. He
again,
can sit down and figure bottom like
I don't think you'll want to do
who's
that.
playing
But
this week.
yeah, the Buccaneers are a big one as well, 3-5 to get themselves to 3-5 and put themselves in the hunt. So
Ooh.
again, everything's so close. The 6-2s, they can start looking towards the playoffs. Probably, it would take an almighty collapse for them not to make it now, I would say. But everybody else, the race is on.
So nice one there. Newcastle Colts against Warner Bay Goonies. That's a nice game. This obviously got 21 points for Mixon.
Well, I mean, this is a big one for Sean in that, he lost to the Godalming Colts last week, and that's it. So if he was to go and lose to the Warner Bay Goonies, that's him lost to the two at the top, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So it's not the way you'd want to go. It's not a big one, but it's a big one. For your kind of confidence going into the playoffs, I would say.
Big one here for Fraser because obviously his team's a bit decimated. He's up against the White Tigers, both 5-3. So who's he put in?
And yeah, you
Well,
don't
he's got Tillman in, he's
at
got
five
Likely
and
and Coker.
at 5-3, you don't want to start losing games. You need to start kicking forward. It's not. it's not a good precedent to set at this stage of the season. You know that if you start losing a few games, so
Well, the team's picked
as you
itself. So
say,
look at that. So
it's his team's absolutely decimated. So it is a shame for Fraser, but at the same time, he's well in it, and if he can find a win this week, if he can find a way of beating Whitehall White Tigers, it'll give him a good boost.
and they got just 3-5 against the 2-6 of the high. The Glossop Fighting Gophers got a nice start, 33 points up against the Yorkshire Finns. Would that be Wilson or Adams? Wilson,
It'll be
33.2
Wilson,
Adams.
yeah, Wilson. It's Adams wasn't quite that much because he didn't get as many catches. But I mean, bottom both these bottom games here, Glossop Fighting Gophers and the Solihull Sharks game, they're both losing. You know, both games are two losing record teams. So you know, kind of winner gets themselves into it, and loser kind of it's only 5 weeks to go. So they're two massive games, and all four teams, if they get the win, they'll fancy themselves getting back into it. And if they don't, they're going to be thinking avoid relegation.
Yeah. And obviously the Orkney Orcas up against the Stockholm Bengals. Who was actually, I was
Well,
quite happy until Adams came back on and caught that long touchdown.
Yeah, that
And
was
I
a
was like,
big. That was a
you
big.
bastard. That's what I thought about that one. Obviously, because Stewart's only got 8 points. And obviously,
Yeah, and again, Hall at 13. It's no great, is it? It's no superb.
but
So
I do fancy Stafford to score a lot more points than Lawrence against that Philly defence. But so that might be my
yes,
only
yes, you would
godsend in
fancy
this
that.
one. So as long
Yeah,
as
I
he throws
mean,
them off the cup, it'd be even better.
he's got
Like I say, I'll get
Goddard
McCaffrey
out,
back in
and
2 weeks next
good
week.
chance Etienne's not playing. So yeah, I mean, you've got a good. But it is a big week, Johnny. You need to win.
Oh yeah, I need to win. But if I don't win, then I'll just be thinking about staying in the division for next year.
That's it
So
exactly, and
like I say, even down there, you still got something to play for. And
absolutely always.
so Luke's picked up Joe Flacco. Stockholm Bengals picked up a kicker. I don't remember picking up Peering. I think I picked up Peering just in case Hunt didn't play for some reason. I needed somebody who
The
was
agency's
unquestionable for
getting
later on. Fraser got
agents,
Cocker. I picked up
agency is
Jones.
getting weaker
Then
and weaker, isn't it? It's difficult to find someone now.
it is when I spent all my fab on somebody. I can't even mind who it was. I got no fucking money left. But
That
so
doesn't
we'll go
matter.
on
It's
to
there's no one to be picking up anyway.
the Queen Hill. We've got the hot shot hot dogs, 240.40 against the Chicago Scorpions, 198.11. My tie of the week, the top headliner, 169.41 against a rather nice score in 251.23 for the Edinburgh Packers. The Glenoffice Nagros going 8-0, 234.84 against 184.68 Leeds Lepers. The Nairn Knights are 266.65 up against the New Barstow Masters, 183.19. So that's a good win for the was formerly 1-6, now 2-6. The Darlington Rams 196.45 against the Preston Panthers 193.65. No score correction in that one. And then you've got the Lee Vikings 233.14 against the 220.27 Portsmouth Pirates. So you've got 1-8-0, 1-6-2,
Yeah, so
2-5-3s, and a couple of 4-4s. So
I think it's congratulations, Martin. It's you've made it absolutely official. You are in the playoffs. Well done. Darlington Rams at 6-2, following suit, and now got a 2-game gap between them and the outside the playoffs. But after that, again, it's so tight, Johnny. A great, absolutely. My players bounced back right when I needed them to. I mean, 3-5, it's not great, but I'm 1 game behind the playoffs. I've dragged Doug's team into the mix, which was absolutely superb. I gave him an absolute pounding, which was wonderful. I always like to give Doug a good scene too. So a great win for me, and all over it's just it's so tight. Everything is so tight. You've got 6 two, a couple of 2s and 6s down the bottom, but even the 2s and 6s, as you said, Joe just scored 266 points. I had 250 points. I wasn't the highest scorer because Joe scored 260 odd. So he's on the way back. He's coming. So yeah, all to play for. It's 6 games to go. I'm 3-5. I will need to win 5 out of 6, I would imagine, but I don't think it's a totally forlorn hope.
So I see where it went wrong for the Pressing Panthers, because they're one of the highest scoring teams and they got lost by less than 3 points. Sterling Shepherd only got 5. Kicker. Aubrey didn't do much actually for Dallas, which is unusual because usually he's kicking them all over the place. But
yeah, but the Dallas were terrible that week. But it's I mean,
you got to love it.
Not playing Dell was a big call this week with no Diggs and no Collins.
Well, he might have played him. He might have played him this week because this was last week. Remember, so he might have played him. I've not looked at, or have you looked already?
Did Diggs go down last week? Is that what it was? Fair enough.
Yeah, I think they lost him in the beginning during the game.
Even at that, without Collins, I think that's a big call not to play Dell. But there you go.
So we'll see how they're getting on this week then. So there's actually not many in this one. Scorpions got 5 points. I don't know who that was. Oh, that was a Fairbairn, the kicker.
I'm up against near Knights this week, so it's the top 2 scorers from last week playing against each other, and it's 3-5 and 2-6. It's one of those massive games. It really is. They seem to. Sleeper has me as favourite, but because he's not done his team yet, so he's got to replace Kittle and he's got to replace Fant.
And
he's got to replace Patrick Queen. But do you know what I done this week, Johnny? I was a bit cheeky. I noticed that someone dropped Tua to the agency. And do you know that way?
Oh, you bought him up.
You better believe it. And it's not that I'm going to play him. I'm playing Kyler Murray, but Tua could start in the run-in and then in the playoff weeks. Tua could be huge, if he's back and he's blown off the rust. And they're second in the division at the moment, let's not forget. And they've got a big game that if they can find a way to beat the Bills this week, they're right back in the race for the playoffs, and with Tua back. I think that it could be huge for someone else, not necessarily me, but I do think it could make some teams a lot stronger. So I thought, I'm going to pick him up. I'm not going to leave him sitting in agency. So I've picked up. I've done the.
Is it not is Arizona bye week 11? Is it not? You need a backup for a bye week. So.
14 maybe, but he is a good. And don't get me wrong, I might plug him in front of Murray, but it does give me a decision to make. But I wasn't leaving him on
week 11.
Or by week 11, yeah. So there you go. So I need him for week 11 anyway. But I wasn't leaving him on agency, so I've been a bit cheeky and I've went to pick up Tua, and I've broke my cardinal sin, and I'm sitting with 2 quarterbacks and giving myself that headache.
Yeah, but Tutu Atwell's not going to get much now that Nakua and Cup are back. He's probably about 5th in the pecking order now, going by all the wide receivers. So it's not really much. I mean, for $1, it's not bad. So.
Martin's looking very good for going 9-0 as well, because he's up against the 2-6 Chicago Scorpions. So and with the strength of his team, I'm just not sure the Scorpions have got much that can chat. It would need to be something freaky to happen for Martin not to go 9-0, and it's a race to see who can beat him. I mean, the Chicago Scorpions have got players, have got options,
Yeah, so does Martin. He's got a space missing at the moment. So he's predicted to win by a lot, and he's still missing a player. So yeah, no, Martin's looking pretty good, and I'm sure he's loving that fact too. So at least he's not beating.
He will be. He will be. So he'll be looking at playoffs and making sure that he doesn't have some sort of disaster in week 15 and drop out before the promotion spots. That would be very hard. That would be very harsh, but we all know that it can happen.
Obviously, the Darlington Rams will be wanting to put a bit of a gap between them and Leeds Leopards.
Yeah, it's a big game. That is a big game there, because it would also drag the Leeds Leopards back into it. And see, to be honest with you, from my point of view, from where I'm sitting, I hope the Darlington Rams do go and win that game and get themselves to 7-2, because it brings the Leeds Leopards back down towards me, and it gives me a better chance of making the playoffs. And just let Sam get into the playoffs. Away you go, and we'll take New Marsden Masters and Leeds Leopards losing this week. Thank you very much.
Oh no, actually, you probably want New Marsden Masters to win because they're playing against the 4-4 Lee Vikings.
Yeah, no, I'll still take. Yeah, I'll take Lee Vikings going 5-4 and New Marsden Masters being 5-4 over them being 6-3. To be honest, let's keep them all close.
No, because obviously you've got. Thing is, scoring wise, you're actually better than 8 teams in the league, but you just come up.
Big
You've
games.
had a couple.
I've had big weeks.
You've had a couple of monster
Johnny,
teams and some bad ones, so you've been up and down.
But I'm either scoring 250 points or I'm scoring 150 points and nothing in between, you know. So that's been the problem. I've had 3 big ones and I've had 5 rubbish ones. So hopefully that'll be it settling down now, and I'll kind of start scoring now. And as I say, if I get the win this week, then I'll feel like I'm back in it. And if I lose this week, then I'll be feeling like I just need to stay in this division.
Well, I might join you. So we'll go on to the Millhead division. So up here we go. The Plymouth Argyle Browns 184.20 up against the Bodom Bears 203.74. The Edinburgh Thunderbirds now go 6-2, 212.51, losing to the Bedford Brewskis 218.85. Rotherham Raiders 204.31, another 200-point score, and another loss. This week to the Preston Hawks 226.76. The Workshop with Rookies 254.94 against the Yorkshire Los Muertos 210.97. Aberdeen Bucks 193.02 against the Blacksteel Legends 163.17. And the Kirkwall Chargers go 5-3 with 234.70 against the Bucks Gold Rush 181.75. They're now sitting at 2 teams at 6-2. Is that?
The one that's cheesing the most out of this one, Johnny's Aberdeen Bucks. All of those scores over 200 and losing. There's at least 2 teams in this division that scored over 200 and lost, and they've went one with 193. So they'll be and to move themselves to 6-2 and give themselves such a lead. In fact, there's 3 teams that have scored over 200 points and lost. So massive week for the Aberdeen Bucks there to get that win on 193, which is a decent score in itself, but with all those 200s, he's come up against the right team in the right week, and it's put him 6-2. And as you say, them and Edinburgh Thunderbirds losing there to go 6-2. We've seen 1-8-0, and we've not seen a single 7-1 so far. That's 4 divisions we've looked at. That's how tight things are. 6-2 is a great position to be in, but it's not. You're not there yet. You need another one. You need another 2 probably. And again, this one, look at all the 4 and 4s there.
Yeah, it takes all the way down to 8.
All the way down to 8, and then it's the 3 and 5s. Does that take us down to the bottom there, Johnny? So, and then a couple of 2 and 6s. The Bucks Gold Rush and Plymouth Argyle Browns, and the Bucks Gold Rush are kind of, they're scoring kind of 170, 180 every week, so it's consistently kind of not enough, And the Plymouth Argyle Browns have had a couple of big weeks, but both are going, as I've said in every other place, the 2 and 6s, they need to start winning now, or you're looking over your shoulder and you're thinking, well, there is no relegation from here, so it's move on to next year soon.
Well, that's the thing. They can't go any lower than this one because this is the bottom division. So they'll be staying in that division.
Totally. Pez will be cheesing up to 5-3 now and up to 4th.
I think he's on like a 4-game, 3-game win streak. I can't really see in this one. It doesn't show you. I'll have to look it up. But he's on a win streak anyway.
I can't see what it's saying there either. But yeah, no, he's certainly flying now, and he's moving on the march. So yeah, he'll be quite comfortable where he's going. Alan, the Kirkwall Chargers, he's on the march too. That's him moving up. Rotherham Raiders, as you say, another 200 points and another loss, but at 4 and 4, they're absolutely fine. And Everyone's
losing
everyone's
streak
kind of
though.
still got a taste of it, but it's a long way for Plymouth Argyle Browns and Bucks Gold Rush. But outside of that, Bodom Bears, Yorkshire List Mertos, Workshop Doth Rookies,
Workshop doth rookies. Yeah,
and the
I
Bedford
didn't pick the
Ruskies.
teams.
They're not sitting in the playoff spots, but they're all still close enough, and a couple of wins. You just need to go on a wee win streak now, Johnny. Two wins in a row, and everything turns around from this position at this stage.
Well, Arthur's up against the Edinburgh Thunderbirds, so I'm guessing the Thunderbirds haven't checked their team.
Yeah, it
No,
certainly looks.
they got
Will
Anderson got nothing last night, so I don't think he even
I get
played.
stung with him in another league. He went off injured. He went off early doors. I get stung with him in another league and left the entree on the bench, and he went and scored about 34 points.
And that's the problem in this league. Having
It's very
like
annoying.
obviously myself showed up losing 30 points. Having a defender scoring no points is a big hit in the scoring of this
Massive hit.
league. This
And
could
it's
potentially cost them the game.
we've
But
got Preston Hawks here with Aberdeen Bucks. That's a big game, the Aberdeen Bucks, after getting that win last week, they can
good start
get
as well.
themselves one
3
foot in the
points.
playoffs. But Pez has been on the roll, and he's got to be looking at playoffs now, so he'll be looking to do some things. But Brees Hall's a problem there, isn't it? He's just not scoring
He's
enough
going
for
for
where we've
Bowen.
drafted him.
Oh, Pez, man, you didn't take out Diggs. You donut.
Oh, and he's played already, so yeah, that's Dr. Pez needs to see a doctor himself by the looks of it.
Well, we're having a word about that. Obviously, he's got to take Pickens out as well. But yeah,
You need to take
that's a
Pickens out.
rookie
Yeah, he's
mistake
not.
there, Pez.
Yeah,
That could
too
cost
late
you
to
your
get
running
the
streak
team.
against the Aberdeen Bucks. Put them at 7. That'd be a good way to go. Yeah. Oh, Jack's just picked up Bonex. But yeah, the Edinburgh Thunderbirds could potentially lose after having no points for Will Anderson, which is a sore one because he's been doing really well this year. And Aberdeen Bucks potentially getting a good chance against Pez, who not actually had Brees Hall not many points and didn't take out Stephon Diggs. And if he doesn't get his arse in gear and doesn't take out George Pickens is on a bye, he's definitely going to lose this week.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he'll put them out before, but the 6-2s can afford to lose one. But the quicker as I always say, the quicker you get to 8 wins, the more comfortable the run in becomes. And you can start thinking about picking up agency players that have got good matchups in weeks 15, 16, 17. So it makes a difference to get there as quickly as you possibly can.
Definitely. So we'll go on to the West Conference because I don't know if Everett's still watching us, but we're on to your division now. So here we go. We got the Gothenburg Angels doing a 36.24 against the Whitford Educators 184.44. The Darlow Destroyers 246.18 against the Rotherham Raiders 154.95. The Kirkwall Raiders 197.01 up against the Brawny Red Cowboys 235.35. Melbourne Supremacy 204.64 up against the poor Everett, the Turbo Titans 202.66. So it's a pretty close one to lose and still got over 200 points. The Yeovil Winners 261.38 against the South London Rebels, losing their first game, but still scored 202.30, so they're not going to be that worried. Kirkwall Cowboys 232.66 to 235.29 for the Bognor Regis Balkans. So that's a bit of a sore loss for Ross, but a good win for the Bognor Regis Balkans to go to 6-2. So here's a 7-1. The South London Rebels after losing that one. 2 6-2s, Darlow Destroyers.
It's the first division we've seen that has all 6 playoff spots with a winning record.
Yeah.
So it's this one's maybe starting to open up a little bit now, and you've got Gothenburg Angels there at 4-4, but then Kirkwall Cowboys and Royal Raiders are starting to lose touch. Turnbull Titans losing a close one, they're losing touch, and with a couple of 1-7s down there at the bottom. This division is starting to take shape very, very quickly now, and it's massive weeks ahead for Kirkwall Cowboys, Royal Raiders, Turnbull Titans, Gothenburg, even Gothenburg Angels. They need to win, not just kind of this week, but they need to win a couple in a row if they want to get themselves back in it. And the 2-1-7s at the bottom, it's all about playoffs now. I would say it's all about staying in it. I just don't see how they get themselves back into it, not in this division, you know.
No, I think they're getting a bit far behind now. That's 4 games back. With how many games ago? 6 games ago. Yeah,
It's a huge one for Yeovil Winners, and it's probably against the South London Rebels being 7-0 and unbeaten. Yeovil Winners have come up against them. Scored like it had a great week just when they needed it most, and it's got them that win that's kind of opened up that gap between the playoff spots and below. That was kind of they were the ones that had to hang about for the 3 and 5s to
he
still
picked
be
up
in with a
Tillman and
great
played him
shout,
himself. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
they've not looked
Tillman
bad.
was a big call to play, and it could have been any one of them. I know that Tillman did get a few catches in that the week before, but I mean, it could have been any one of them. It could have been Elijah Moore. It could have been Judy. It's now looks like it's going to be Tillman, and it was a big call to play on this week, and it's paid off handsomely.
It has. So see how they're getting on this week. So the Gothenburg Angels got a whole 5 points on Thursday night against the Dallas
it's not a great
Destroyers. So this is a
start.
big game. Obviously, the Dallas Destroyers wanted to go up to 7 wins. Gothenburg need to win, hang on. Got the battle of the 1
They
and
do it, and
7s. You got the Cutwell Raiders
they,
against the Whitford Educators. Ooh.
yeah,
Everett
that's
against Aaron.
That's a huge game. The Royal Raiders and the Turnbull Titans, Everett and Aaron. That's a huge game because I would say that the loser of that can forget about kind of the title at that point, and it's the winner maybe gets on a wee run and sneaks in at the bottom. But huge game, that one.
Yeah, then we've got Yeovil 5-3 against the 5-3 Bonnyrigg Cowboys. So that'll be a close game. The Cutwell Cowboys are up against the Melbourne Supremacy, so you think we need to win, but it's going to be a hard one against Melbourne. And Tony looking to bounce back.
Kirkwall Cowboys are really going to have to, this is a game that they have to win, not just for themselves, but for everybody else that's down there at 3 and 5 and that, I mean, the Bonnyrigg Cowboys and the Yeovil Winners playing against each other, they would probably rather not be, because one of them is then going to be the one that's getting dragged into it. The other one's going to keep themselves with their head above water type thing, But the Kirkwall Cowboys need to get Melbourne Supremacy dragged back into the playoff spots, because if they don't, and it's only one spot that they're all playing for, well, that's just a free for all that you don't need.
Well, he's got Pop Douglas with. Well, he's got a good start. We'll see how he gets on, but it's going to be a close one. And obviously, the 7-1 against the 6-2 Bordner So Tony will want to get his act back again, getting a 33-point start with Garrett Wilson's a nice start to do it.
Wilson's the one player as well. I mean, he will, but at the same time, he'll not be losing any sleep over not winning this game either. It's Bognor Regis Falcons. It's actually a bigger game for them in the sense that again, it's 6-2. You're not losing sleep, but you'd love to get that 7th win at this point and know that you're kind of one win away from the playoffs with 5 still to go. That's comfortable.
But like you say, though, you want to get there as quick as you can, and if they can get the win there, that helps them get there as quick as they can, especially with where's the other 6-2? Oh no, actually the Dallas Destroyers are up against the Gothenburg Angels, so that will be a close game as well. So they'll be wanting to win that one to break away, so they need to win that.
They need to. If the Gothenburg Angels don't win that game, it puts Dallas Destroyers 3 games ahead of them with 5 to play. That's almost unaccountable.
Yeah, but then they're still going to be one bottle behind the rest of that, so they're still looking good. But yeah, they'd like to win it just to get up there and jump above one of those to get into the playoff spot. Especially when one of those are playing against each other. So
if Graham's Bonnyrigg Cowboys wins this week against Yeovil Winners, he'll be dangerous.
He'll be dangerous anyway. His team's pretty good. So we'll go on to Maze Howe. Teammate. So yeah, we have the Kilmarnock Kings, Derek losing 163.90 against the Glasgow Lightning, 264.22. Pure Double Dollar Diamonds got 184.95 up against the Bonnerig Cheese 231.16. The Whip Chip Warriors 231.64 up against the Crew Juggernauts 205.82. Dick and Chief Demons 217.32 losing to 224.43 South Carolina Broncos. Lancashire Bombers 219.25 beating the Belfast Benchwarmers 277.97. Southampton Dockers 183.83 losing to the Portland Lumberjacks 199.54. So this one here, this is the tight one. We've got four teams at 5 and 3. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
11th is one game off
top.
top.
7 teams on the 4 and 4. And the Pure Double Dollars at 0 at the bottom.
As you were shouting out the scores, I was kind of looking down at, and at just about every game in this division, the team behind beat the team ahead, and look what it does to the division. It's crazy how tight this one is. I mean, this could go anywhere whatsoever.
Yeah, McGonagall goes on the shopping trade. He's sent trades to E Love and Mark Robinson. You know he does like a trade, and obviously just sitting in the 7th spot, he'd be wanting to get that little boost up to get. But then, do they want to trade with him and cost themselves?
And that's it. In a
very
tight league like this, it's difficult in such a tight league like this as well to find a trade that's going to suit both players type thing, because there is no draft picks to be traded. So it's player for player for player for player, and it's who's got the excess running backs that needs a wide receiver, and is there someone there with a couple of excess wide receivers? It's difficult to get a trade going. I find in these kind of leagues that it's redraft. It's because it's player for player for player, and you always want to get the upper hand. So you want to make your team better, and to do that you have to kind of make someone else's a little bit worse, don't you?
Yeah, but it's finding the right balance. You don't want somebody to pass it up and give away. I know Dobbers are sitting at 0 and 8, but you're still only 2 games away from staying away in the division when it comes to the playoffs. So you could still potentially stay in Maze Hill if you win your 2 games in the consolation. So you don't want to give up too much, and you go and you end up getting relegated.
That's it. They've got to.
You could be 0 and 14, win your first 2 games of week 15 and 16, and you stay in Maze Hill.
So it's definitely. It's all about relegation for Dobos, Darlos, Diamonds. Now they've just got to wait for the playoffs and hope that they can find something by then, and their players are running into a bit of form. But for everyone else, it's absolute game on. I mean, it's going to be huge this week. What are the games like this week? Because I guess the question is who's won the watch, and it's Derek that's won the watch this week, and
Derek's won the watch, but Dobos Darlos have started off with 32 points. But the one they have Stroud and Dell up against Schultz. So,
and I mean that's been the problem all season long. The Stroud and Dell stack has not worked this season. It just hasn't. It's not been good.
The Whip Warriors got a 21-point start over Glasgow Lightning. Bonnerig Cheese have only got 1.7 start. So they would have been Tyler Conklin. The Crew Juggernauts against Lancashire Bombers. So 13 points for Hall and 23. Sherwood, who came in for CG Mosley, who was out, had an absolute monster game and scored 23.5 points. So that was a bloody good pickup in playing him.
I mean, every week is so big in this division. Every week is so big because of how tight it is. But see, at the same time, you're not going to be out of it by losing one week either. The thing is, if you do lose this week, you must bounce back next week. So, winning this week just gives you that wee bit of cushion, and anyone who wins this week outside of Dobos, Darlos, Diamonds, whoever wins this week is going to be in playoff spots at the end of it.
Of course,
if you win this week, you will be in the top 6.
Of course, I'm really sorry, Derek, but we always root for the underdog. So we would like the Dobos Darla Diamonds to get their first win of the season. Just unfortunately, we'll be up against yourself, but you are sitting at 5 and 3, so you'll still be in the top 11.
We want all O's to go. That includes Martin's.
So yeah, we want We want Mark to win this one. Sorry, Derek. And it's good to get close with that. So they have been close a couple of times. Obviously, a lot of games have been really bad, but they have scored a couple of times. They've scored 180 points, 190. So
Yeah,
they've done better than my team, and I've won 2 games. So
I mean,
hopefully they'll
it's
get a
kind of
chance. So,
you just have those seasons sometimes. You just need to brush them off and move on to next year. You know, that's just the way it goes. But as you say, it's not over yet. You've got to play for the playoffs
yeah.
and play for staying in the division, because it's Division 2. I mean, you're only one division away from playing for the OrkneyBowl. So you know, keep yourself in the division and have a better year next year. Get yourself up to Division 1 and see what happens.
Definitely. So we'll go on to Marwick Head. So we've got the Peterhead Bloody Jets, 147.16 up against the Sandbach Satyrs, 238.10. The Norwich Mustard Men, 251.19 up against the Guildford Raptors, 209.40. The Carbite Porkers, we did say he was going to have a good score this week with that team that he had. He got 225.71 up against the poor Groty, the Gorgie Vikings, under 73.05, which would still beating me. The Nottingham Rebels, 226.87 against the Birmingham Masters Chiefs, who slipped there. They're falling away a wee bit, 188.37. The Chester Hurricanes, 183.43 against the London Eagles. So that'll be 6 in a row now. 226.84 against the Darlington Dragons, 205.19 against 189.35. So now the London Eagles are now officially the team of the informed, because that's them 6 wins in a row. Oh no, actually you've got the Gloucester's Glasgow is 8-0, but they're the second best record in the division, with 6 wins in a row after Tony losing. So they've got 6-2, so they're one ahead of Norwich Mustard Men and the Birmingham Master Chiefs, the Sandbach Satans, and the Nottingham Rebels, and the Darlington Rams, so all winning records in the top 6.
Yeah,
we've got the Chester Wakefield at 4-4. The Peterhead Bloody Jets 1 game back. The Carbite Porters 1 game back from that, 2 from the playoffs. Then they've got the Guildford Raptors 2-6, and Grote just looking forward to the playoffs and trying to stay in the division. So
he's playing too. But yeah, I mean, it's and it just goes to show you, when you've got a team that's kind of 1-7, 0-8, 1-7, the rest are just so close, you know, because they're always, it's kind of a win for everybody else, and it keeps everything so much tighter. And again, I mean, this one couldn't be any tighter either. Obviously, London Eagles now 6-2, 6 games in a row, win and run. You know, they're obviously looking very good to get in, but everyone else, it's just so tight. It's, you know, the 4-4s are only 1 game off. The 5-3s, they're going to be looking over their shoulder. They need to get the wins on the board now, you know, because the others are coming. The Peterhead Bloody Jets, they just find a way, don't they, to keep themselves in it. And Cavite Porkers with that team, he's 3-5. So I doff my cap to the Porkmeister.
So the Sandbach Satans are on a 2-game win streak. Nottingham Rebels are on a 3-game win streak. Darlington Dragons are on a 4-game win streak. And
Yeah, so I mean,
the
and
streaks are going the
that's
right
all the
direction.
5-3s. You know,
Yeah.
that's all the 5-3s. So they are all moving up. So this league would have looked very different kind of three weeks ago, you know, when they were all kind of not on those, before those win streaks began. So it's all turned around. So, you know, the ones that are kind of, they've been overtaken, it's still 6 weeks to go. There's still plenty of time to go.
Oh, yeah. See who they're playing next week. I think the Birmingham Master Chiefs started off pretty well. Yeah, they're 33 points up against the Guildford Raptors 2-6. So you've got to fancy their chances here of bouncing back. You've got the Norwich Mustard Men up against the Peterhead Bloody Jets. I'm guessing he's not sorted his team if he only got projection of 137. But he did start with 29 points.
That'll
Got
be
Hall.
when he's.
Well,
It's just Hall, is it? I thought
Moss
it would
is
be one of the receivers.
no, I think it was a defender as well. Quincy Williams got 16
Quincy
points. He got
Williams,
16
yeah.
points of his defender, but I think he's just lost his running back today, so he's got to replace him. But
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where at 3-5, he's got to, you know, you've got to win that when you're up against a 5-3. You've got to win that, not just for yourself again, but for the rest that are chasing. Those 5-3s need to come back, otherwise it'll kind of the division will open up, you know. So
you've
again,
got to find
Guildford Raptors, it's a huge game against the Birmingham Master Chiefs. Cavite Porters up against Sandbach Satans, a huge, you know,
yeah,
all of these 5-3s win this week. You know, the two 5-3s are up against each other. That's harsh for whoever one loses that, but if all of these 5-3s win this week, it's going to open up a bit of a gap. You know, you've got the London Eagles there playing the Wakefield 49ers, harsh for the 49ers, but they're 4-4. They need to win the game, and it doesn't look very good for them if you look at the projections there with the
No,
lines. So
they've not
they
sorted their
need
team.
the 5-3s to be losing. They can't be having the 5-3s winning and going 2 games ahead with 5 to go. You know, I'll go back to the golf analogy again, Johnny. 2 up with 5 to play. You don't often lose. I mean, you could tie, but you don't often lose from 2 up with 5 to play.
No. The thing is, they're going to have to go in agency because by the looks of their team, they're sort of a running back or two. But no,
Yeah,
it could help London Eagle. But yeah, this would be a good one. Obviously, Darton Dragons against Nottingham Rebels.
I mean, it's a huge one because if the other 5-3s win, the loser of that game is going to be the one that's 5-4, and when everyone else is moving up to 6-2, you're the one that's 5-4, so you're the one that's the target for the ones that are chasing behind. You're
Yeah.
the first one in their sights. So
And obviously, the
it's a
good chance
huge
that
game,
Chester Hurricane also end up with 5-4, so you're also joined by them as well. So
and
you
that's it,
definitely
you
want to
know. And
win.
it's
And the thing is that
but
Chester Hurricanes they're the second highest scoring, third highest scoring team in the division. So either of those two teams would drop out if Chester Hurricane win because they've got a far better scoring point difference. So
yes,
yeah, they
yes,
both want to
they
win
will
to
move
stay
up.
in. I know that there's still one, but yeah, to stay in the playoff spot, there's a bit of a pressure on this one. Who's going to stay up? And glad it's not the last game of the season. This would be a bit of a nightmare, knowing that one of them would go out if they lost, and the other one would go through if
I mean,
Chester
yeah,
Hurricanes are
for
playing the
this.
Goaties. So well, if
And
they go to
playing against Grote is almost like the gimme, isn't it? And I'm not saying that. I'm saying that because he's 1-7, and you know it's almost like the gimme in the division when he started okay here. But again, he's got that Stroud issue. That's where it's kind of gone wrong. You know,
yeah,
that's
Stroud being a
79 points
defender.
for the Nottingham Rebels already. That's a heck of a start.
Oh yeah, but you got
Can't imagine
Rogers,
Sam's too pleased
Mixon,
about that. And
Mixon, and
Adams.
Adams,
Yeah, that's a crazy start. That's a long way. That's a long way back for Darlington Dragons.
and the kicker.
It's
So they've had eight.
for me. There's
They've still got 8 players. They played 8 players left, and Dragons have got 11.
11.
They got
It breaks my heart honestly because it totally ruins your week. It totally ruins your Friday and Saturday when your team gets off to a start like that on a Thursday night. You go in and you check your team, and the other team scored 80 points, and you're looking going, I've lost before it's even Sunday yet, and it totally downers me for the rest of the weekend. So that's harsh for Darlington Dragons,
it's not
but
over
it's not
yet, but
over. That's the thing.
it's a tough one. But yeah, so we'll move on to Dwarfy Stain, week 8. Got the Birmingham Bears 6-2. Oh, they must have won then. Oh yeah, the Bluetoon Texans still on a roll. 223.91 up against the Plymouth Assassins, 184.20. The Birmingham Bears did win, 226.51 up against the Fullwood Patriots, 166.95. Manchester Spinners, respectful, 203.49, but coming up against the Bangham Sharks, 220.38. The Court Red Army, 226.79 against the Not Cold Knockouts, who've fallen away a bit, 155.65. The Rhino Cardinals, I think they're now the number one, 235.52 against the Q Kings, 185.45. I think they're now on a 4-game losing streak. And you've got the Gloucester Wolfpack at 275.23, now 4-4 up against the Lagersville Lemons, 189.57. That's a hell of a score. Although
It's a
Birmingham
hell of
Bears won.
a week to get it for the Gloucester Wolfpack as well. You know, to get that score this week and keep themselves right in the hunt, and in fact put themselves in the playoff spots and pull the Lagersville Lemons. You know, keep them close at 5-3. So yeah, I mean, look, 4-4, fifth in this division, so it's exceedingly tight. Six
Yeah,
and
goes
two at
down
the
to
top,
9th.
and 2 and 6 at the bottom. So you know, even the bottom lot, they're 2 down with 6 to play.
But
You
yeah,
know, win the next, and you're 1 down with 5 to play, and you know you're not dead. So I get such a tight division, and with 2 and 6 being the bottom, it needs wins, but the wins can come.
So the Rhino Cardinals are in a 3-game win streak. The Blue Toon Texans are in a 5-game win streak. The Cork Red Army in 7th are in a 3-game win streak. Bangham Sharks are in a 2-game win streak. But the poor Knockouts are in
the
3-game
thing is,
losing streaks. So.
when you get on these win streaks as well, it's great because it's not just the fact. I mean, your players are obviously playing well, but they're also avoiding injury, and that's huge, And it's can they keep avoiding the injuries? Sometimes you want to get that wee period where a couple of your players get hurt, just so they're out for a couple of weeks and they're resting, and when they come back, they're fresh and they're ready to go again. Get a couple of wins early doors, have a couple of injuries, let your players have a wee rest, and then let them come back for the run in the playoffs. That's probably the best way to go about things. But
well, Amos is a bit tight because he hasn't spent any of his fab yet.
I mean,
I don't think he's made
one of
any
those
play. I
ones,
think that's just the team he drafted. The same with Lagers with Lemon. Whereas the
thing is,
Birmingham Bears have been pretty active.
You don't get to take it home with you at the end of the season if you keep it, So it's and at this stage that there's few. I'm always blow your load early because that's when you can get players, and that's when you get the best worth out of players because you're getting longer out of them as well. So I'm very much of a go hard, go early for my fab.
Well, I'm not usually am, but I am this year. I've been paying for it ever since because it didn't work out and I've got no bloody money. But yeah, no,
Sometimes that happens.
Let's see how we
Yeah,
get
no,
on this week.
this is exceedingly tight. And in Division 4, you don't need to be worried about looking over your shoulder for relegation. All you've got to do is look up. So even the 2 and 6s, take a few chances, roll the dice with, you've got to get yourself back into it somehow from 2 and 6, but you're not dead. You can see you're only 2 games behind the playoffs. So, go and pick up, I don't know, what Washington for the Jaguars in the hope that, if Thomas is out and we know Kirk's on IR, but Thomas is banged up, Davies is banged up, he might get in, he might get some big points. These are the kind of things you do at 2 and 6, and do you know what? See if it doesn't work out, there is no relegation. Move on to next year and challenge, and start again next year. But that's what I would be doing from Division 4. I would be rolling the dice a little bit now and trying to get myself back into it with a few out of left field, a couple of Hail Marys, shall we say.
Yeah. So there's a big game for Amos there. He's up against the Birmingham Bears, so that'll be a close one. Manchester Spinners are up against the Plymouth Assassins. Pretty close start, but looking by projections, it's not looking too close. Knockouts up against the Fullwood Patriots. The Bangham Sharks up against the Rhino Cardinals, the high-flying Rhino Cardinals. That's 2 teams that are win streak, so somebody's going to lose it. The Cork Red Army in a 3-game win streak up against last week's highest scorers, but I'm guessing they had Tyler Conklin, the 1.75, because he got minus yards, but he got a couple of catches.
Yeah.
And the Cork Red Army, a nice 30-point start, and the Q Kings, 21-point start over the Lagers Lemons, who'll be hoping to bounce back after last week's defeat. So,
I mean, for me here, I think that the rest of the whole of the league, the rest of the league really will want the Birmingham Bears and the Rhino Cardinals to win this week and just get them away and keep everybody else tight. That's what I'd be looking at if I'm kind of down at the kind of 4-4s, the 2 6s. I'm hoping that those 2 both win and they can go and I'll see you in the playoffs and I'll get the rest of them all coming down, But I mean, the Blue Toon Texans are on a 5-game win streak now, and is that a 5-game win streak? Were they on 3?
They were on 3.
So, they are absolutely marching now, and it's going to be difficult when a team's on a 5-game win streak. They really have been something good's been happening. They've got players come back. They've maybe got some players finding form. Probably a couple of rookies there that are starting to find their feet. And it's hard to stop that momentum, So the sooner kind of the Blue Toon Texans get a loss as well, the better for the rest of the league. At 5-3, a couple more, and they're going to be away out of sight as well. Who they playing this? So it's the Birmingham Bears this week. So definitely the rest of the league want them to win that and just say, look, 6-2, you go, you're in the playoffs, and let's keep everyone else tight.
Yeah. That was all the divisions. We'll nip quickly on to
Let's see how the cup's going, Johnny.
That's what I'm looking for. Where's my thing? There it is.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
My charger needs plugged in. I didn't realise it wasn't in. Don't go off. It's back in.
Yeah, we'll get this back on.
So let's see how the cup's going now. So that's but we're through.
Yeah,
That's
man,
a round over now, isn't it, Johnny? We're into the last 16 now, is it?
Yeah, so the match up to match one, the Birmingham Master Chiefs beat the Newcastle Masters 402.24 against 387.49. The Darlington Dragons beat the Aberdeen Bucks 390 points to 358. The Kirkwall Cowboys 440 points up against the Rotherham Ravens 367, so they were a bit hammered there. Closer one here, the Orkney Warriors 445 against 425. So Solihull Sharks did try and come back after being quite far
They done their
down,
best,
but
didn't they?
it was
I was
a
about to
close
say
one.
that's the first one that we've been close to a comeback.
So this was close after the first one when it was only 192 to 192. But the Gothenburg Angels did enough to get through 429 points to 417.32. The Warners Bay Goonies comfortably through 437.35 against the Chester Hurricanes 358.52. The Blue Toon Texans 413 points up against the 364 points for the Turbo Titans, unlucky Everett. Then you've got this was a close one. Crew Juggernauts 442.68 against the Bognor Regis Falcons 435.81. The Witcher Warriors 467.10 against the Portland Lumberjacks 357.54. The Manchester Bees 366.28 against the Knockhold Knockouts 292.59, who started the season well but just fallen away. Southampton Dockers losing to 356.54 to the Dublin Everton Blues, their defending champions. Not in this, obviously. 376.90. The Glasgow Eagles flying high, 449.30 against the Kirkwall Chargers, so the Orkney Derby, 411.21. The Edinburgh Thunderbirds, 465.10 against the Preston Panthers, 384.15. Harrow Harlequins, 465.40 against the Dickensheath Demons, 377.36. And the defending champions of the Rousey Cups have been knocked out. Norwich Mustard Men knock out the South London Rebels, 445.80 against 375.09. The Sandbach Satans, a close one against the Birmingham Bears, 426.58 to 404.7. So we're going to have a new winner of the Rousey Cup.
There you go. The title defense is over. The title defense is over, and it's the last 16 now. There's 4 games to go. Win 4 more ties, and you're the champion. So everyone who's in it now has got to be looking at this and thinking, chance. And if you're even if you're not going so well in your league, I'm pretty sure all of these teams will be going pretty decent in the league, but it's just another thing to look at and another opportunity to win a title, win a bit of cash, So in the knockout stages, I've got to be honest, I don't even pay any attention to it because I'm paying attention to getting a good start in the league, See, once you get to this stage, once you get to the knockouts, that's when I start thinking, right, what's going on in the cup? Am I still in it? And if I'm still in it, I'm paying attention to this now. And I'm sure that's what every single one of these teams that are left in now. The 16 left in, and every one of them's got every chance of winning it. It depends what happens over 2 weeks against one other team. That's it.
So you got the Warner Bay Goonies are up against the Gothenburg Angels, who are 5-0 up after Thursday night. Manchester Bees against the Kirkwall Cowboys, Kirkwall Cowboys are 21.15 up. The Whitford Educators against the Dublin Everton Blues, so it's 21.15 against 1.70. Blue Toon Texans have nobody to play yet against the Norwich Mustard Men, who've got 8.7. This will be a good one. The Harrow Harlequins against the Glasgow Eagles. It's covered 27.6 to 21.15 for the Harrow Harlequins. Nothing's happened much in the Edinburgh Thunderbirds and Warriors. The Birmingham Master Chiefs 33 points against 23 points Crew Juggernauts. That'll be another good one. And the Sandbach Satans haven't started yet, and the Darlington Dragons got a 14-point start after the first night. So there's going to be some cracking games there. So
over 2 weeks as well. It's over 2 weeks, so you can't win it in week 1. You can probably lose it in week 1. So it's important to get off to that decent start. And if you're not ahead, then at least make sure it's close and you've got every chance going into the second week, you know. So big games for everyone involved. Exciting times.
Definitely. And thank you for, well, we did have a couple watched at one point, but yeah, it is getting quite late. But now at least we've got to squeeze in tonight. And are you okay for Friday next week for this?
Yeah, I can always do it. Friday night's fine
So,
for me because I'm always golfing Saturday morning.
yeah, because it's fireworks on Thursday night, so I think the kids want fireworks this week, so I'll be busy trying to blow my hand off.
Yeah, fair
Depending on
enough.
the price of the
That's
fireworks and a
absolutely
bit
fine.
extorting and everything is. But yeah, so we'll see everybody on Friday night, probably about
See you
9
Friday,
o'clock,
folks.
9:30. Take care.
Good luck.
Bye now.
Good luck this week.
Apart from Doug.
Bye.
There we go. So we're at